Hey there. All right, today I'm going to show you how to two-tone our Winnie the Pooh fondant and buttercream stamp today. We're going to do fondant and buttercream. It might be two separate videos, we'll see. So to start off, every first order comes with this starter kit. So you get the fine tip brush, the fan brush, a cookie scribe or poker, a lifter, cheesecloth bag, and an acrylic scraper. And as we go through the process, you'll see what each tool is for. All right, so for right now, I'm going to clear these out of the way. Let's see. All right, so again, this is for the Winnie the Pooh. You probably remember this from, it's a pretty famous depiction from the stories. Winnie the Pooh with the balloon. And then he also comes with a cookie cutter. And then this is our own thing that we do. This is buttercream cutters, because I really like fondant. I think two-toning fondant is beautiful. It's super cute, but I really love the taste of buttercream. So I've developed a way to get that two-tone effect, but with buttercream. Okay, so for starters, here in America, we don't have the best fondant because it's all corn syrup based because of the subsidies. Anyway, so the best fondant that I have found to use for two-toning is this. It's called Renshaw. It's made in England, and you can get it off of Amazon pretty easily. The trick is really just getting a good quality fondant that has glucose instead of corn syrup. I do not recommend using the kind of fondants you would get from Hobby Lobby or Michaels, because for the most part, those have corn syrup and they just don't have the elasticity you need in order to fondant two-tone. If you want to do buttercream, forget everything I just said about fondant. It doesn't apply to you. Okay? So, all right, so we're going to go ahead and start, and I'm going to do the fondant process first. Okay, so in your starter kit, you saw you got a cheesecloth bag. So that is for filling with cornstarch, and you could also use tapioca or arrowroot powder if you prefer, and I just like cornstarch. So my first time using the stamp for today, I'm actually going to tap it and dust it twice and dump it all out, okay? And then next, I've already taken some time to knead my fondant and make sure it's nice and soft. And so I'm going to start with the balloon. So let's see here. All right, I'm going to just put some fondant in here. We're just kind of like squish that down real nice, and then just kind of like tear off the excess. And then making sure it's all really down inside of the stamp, very firm and secure, and that every little bit of that stamp is filled. Okay, next step, I'm going to take my acrylic scraper right here, okay, and I'm pushing down as I'm scooting across. So it's push down, scoot across. Oh bother, of course my dog would start barking right now. Okay, push down, scoot across, and come over here and do the same thing. Push down, scoot across. There we go, that's it. That's the balloon. So I'm going to get the yellow for Pooh Bear now. Alrighty. And just going to tap it out a little bit more. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to do pretty much the same thing for Pooh Bear. And I'm not putting anything right here where the line is for the balloon string, because I'm just going to do that differently later. You can if you want. It sometimes can be tricky to get it out of those little spots, but I'm not going to worry about it. You'll see why. Okay. So now what I'm doing is I'm just making sure I've got plenty of yellow fondant in the part of the stamp that is Pooh Bear, and I'm going to press it down. Now, different people have different ways they like to do this. Some people just like to kind of like go with their hands and just kind of scrape and pinch it off, just to remove some of the excess, the obvious excess. And then once that's done, we're going to go back to using our scraper, okay? And same thing, you're pressing down and scooting across while you press down. Sometimes like little things like the arm will kind of act like it wants to come out, and it's fine, just push back in. Okay, pushing down, scooting across, same thing. And let's see here, I'm going to do this. Just get some nice firm pressure while moving at the same time. And if you get in a situation like this, you can use the scraper this way. Okay, and same thing. I'm just going to kind of clean this up a little bit. Again, just firm pressure, pushing down while I am evenly scooping across And basically what I want to end up with is all the fondant flush with the stamp. You see that? Okay, so I've already rolled out a piece of white fondant that's going to be my base fondant. So I'm going to put that right here. Now, sometimes, especially if your fondant's a little dry, or if you feel like you got a little bit too much cornstarch on it and it may not want to stick to the base fondant right here, what you can do is just add a little bit of either a mixture of either water and some corn syrup or glucose. And but first, before you do that, what you want to do is just kind of clean it up. You know, this looks pretty cleaned up to me. Just any excess fondant, kind of just scoot it back into the design itself. All right, so I'm going to take the fine tip brush, which comes with your starter kit. Okay, a little bit of water or water glucose or food glue, or, you know, just kind of whatever you want. Not too much. It really doesn't take much here. Okay, and then press this down and just give it some firm pressure. Now, again, this is one of those things where different people have different ways that they like to do this. Some people really like to just press it onto the fondant like this. There goes my light. I don't know what happened. Anyway, and you can also roll some people like to do like where they flip the whole thing and then take a rolling pin to it. You know, I don't usually do that, but you know, it's everybody's different. Okay, so next I've gotten good adhesion between the decorative fondant and the base fondant. So I'm going to go ahead and start pulling this all out. And voila. And this is where your poker or cookie scribe comes in. It's just really good for kind of placing things where they really need to go. Okay, so that's good. So right here you can see some of Pooh Bear's fondant went into the string. I'm actually going to remove that with my poker. Because you'll see why in just a second. Okay, so now that that design is nice firmly on there, you can take your fan brush and clean up the cornstarch. And then you want to take your cookie cutter, okay, and just place it over nice and neat. It's kind of hard to, my phone is in the way, so I can't really see where I'm placing it. But anyway, and just press down firmly around the cookie cutter. And what I like to do is, while I have the cookie cutter pressed down, go ahead and peel the base fondant up. Here we go, get that out of the way. Okay, and then you can just kind of, there you go, clean it up a little bit if you need to. There you go. Okay, so the next step is going to be to put it on the cookie. So I'm going to get my water cornstarch mixture back out. Okay, and you can just paint a little bit on the cookie, and this just kind of helps it stick. Sometimes I like to use royal icing for this. I'll just squirt some royal icing on it as my glue. And this is where your lifter is going to come in. It comes with your starter pack. You just lift it up. Oops. Okay. Place it on the cookie here. Here we go. Nice and neat. Now you can see for Pooh Bear, he needs a little bit more detail. He does have a little eye right here. It's a little tough to see. So the Pooh Bear set actually comes with a food Sharpie. It's an edible food marker. So, and I'll show you why it comes with that. I just like to make things as easy as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, where this string is here impressed into the fondant, I'm just going to draw a little balloon string right here. And then for the tip of Pooh Bear's nose, you could leave it like that and just have it be kind of like more of a really subtle pastel-y kind of look. But I really like to go ahead and give Pooh Bear just a wee little bit of a nose and his eye. And there's Pooh Bear's eye. And that's it. Like I said, I like to make the kits as easy and ready to go as possible. So the Pooh Bear kit does come with a food Sharpie. Anyway, that is how you do the fondant for the Pooh Bear stamp. And so next I'm going to get all this cleaned up, and then I'll be right back, and we're going to do the buttercream for the Pooh Bear stamp. All right, thanks y'all.